Alright, so this time we have a Protoss vs Terran, again on Python. Same map, but of course the matchup is going to play differently, so why don't you talk about how Protoss plays against Terran, you know, the standard game on Python.
On Python, I would try to go 2 gate and observer, but on ICOP, I try to go 1 gate and then observer and then add another gate. And if I see that he is doing a FD build, which is fast command center after 6 greens and 1 tank, then I would try to triple on ICOP because it is pretty hard to timing rush, I think. And it's easier to block the timing rush in Python because it's really open. And also, if I see that he is doing a 2 factory rush build, then I will try to go 2 gate and keep pumping dragoons and have a later expansion timing. And also, I would try to go Reaver drop as well after about 8 to 9 dragoons, because at that timing I can safely block a 2 fact rush build.
Say your scouting probe doesn't get into his main, like you scout the last position. I don't know what the timing works like, if he can even have a marine out at that point, but can he? I don't know. Is it ever possible that your probe doesn't get into his main? And if so, what do you do then?
Yeah, most of the times a lot of the Terrans want to block their entrances because they get cheesed so many times, so they just block because, you know, if the Protoss cheeses, then you just win 100%. Anyways, if the Terran blocks and you cannot scout it, I would recommend 1 gate core, and then after 1 goon you can just build the robotics, and with that you can have a fast observer to see what the Terran is doing, and by the time the observer is at the Terran's base, you can just he won't have enough units to kill you by then, so yeah, you will see what Terran is doing if you have one goon and then robotics observer.
What's up with this cybernetics core? Why is it down by your ramp?
I'm not too sure, but it just looks a little bit better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it does look pretty dope. I gotta give you that. Okay, so when you say one gate dragoons, are we going 1 gateway dragoons and then into range?
Yes, this is exactly what I'm doing. And I want to get the observer up early, but then if I don't have the range up, then I will die to the FD rush. So I like doing the 1 gate, and then you just get a goon, and you get the range up, and then you just get the 2nd dragoon, and after you get a robotics.
Oh wow, you get robotics. Oh, I thought you were gonna get robotics and then 2nd dragoon. Sorry.
I forgot to make a pylon this game. So as you can see, I'm stuck in pylon, and I hope a lot of you are stuck in pylon most of your games, because you won't learn a lot of anything from this. But if you're stuck in pylon, then just try to camp in your base, because obviously you'll have a later timing and everything. So just try to camp, and with your first 2 dragoons, what you want to do is scout around to see where the SCVs are and try to block him from scouting your main base.
Yeah, one of the key themes we keep seeing as I talk to high-level players is just how important scouting is, how important, you know, denying their scouting is, and I think it's really a simple thing. Like, good scouting can take you, you know, a full letter up the ladder if you just are always scouting and you know how to react to what you scout.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if a Terran sees that Protoss isn't going Dark Templars or Reavers, then he can just he doesn't have to make eBay or even Academy and just keep pumping factories. One Terran that I faced was like Last Shadow. I think a lot of TL netters know him, and he would try to go like he would try to go like 3 factories before eBay, and I thought that was like, oh my god, you're so cocky. And that really works because there's no way you'll have enough goons if you triple.
Did you also notice that his mines had 300 HP and his vultures did 75 explosive damage? That probably helped his rush a little bit, I would assume.
Didn't do that versus me, but yeah.
Interesting. That 3 factory, by the way, for our viewers at home, is named the Shadow Rush. I think our friend Pressure on TL will be able to tell you a little more about it.
Anyways, right now I see that he has 2 factories, so I try to just pump out more goons.
More Dragoons before expanding?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you actually sent your first observer to go scout him and not to break out?
Yeah. I don't, this is an iCup game and I don't like losing ladder games just because I don't know what he's doing. So most of the times I want to know what he's doing. So if it's a PvP match, then I would send the second observer because I don't want to be rushed by Dark Templars. But if it's in a PvP match, I don't really care if he contains me like this because I can break out easy or relatively easy.
So you gotta remember I'm a Zerg player, I'm used to knowing what everyone's doing at every corner of the map, so this is so strange to me. Okay, so you've held off his 2 factory relatively easily. I'd say the 2 armies traded. How are you looking to follow this up now that you can pretty much assume he's expanded at this point, he's going to be adding factories, going into mid-game. How are you going to be reacting to that?
Right now, I know that he has vultures ready to harass me if I don't have any goons. So I just try to camp with 2 bases only, and I try not to rush myself because if I get a 3rd expansion, then he'll just rush me right away. And I think this is the 2nd time I played him, and I know that he's a Korean Terran, and Korean Terrans are always good at timing pushes. So I just try to do something with 2 bases, and if it works out, then I'll get a 3rd expansion, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll just probably all-in rush with 2 base and type GG after.
Can I just point out how cute his supply depots are with these mines in between them? That's like, if you weren't sure this was a Korean Terran, it's like when you see that, you know it is.
Also, in a PvT match, I would try to get about 5 to 6 observers all game long because your good Terrans will always mine everywhere, like expansion areas or centers, and you don't want to be getting damaged by mines, like even if it's like a Zealot or like a Goon, because every little thing counts when the battle comes.
I just want to point out here that StarLife dropped to the left of the minerals when he had the option. A lot of bad Protosses come in and they don't block off the escape route, so you want to come in from the angle if you have the option. I mean, if he runs those SCVs to the natural, StarLife has a free shot at them, so I mean, if you have the choice, come in from the escape route.
Here what I was thinking was, since I'm running with 2 bases only, I want to try to get some good damage to him because 2 bases versus 2 bases in PvT is just really hard. So I see that Reaver drop works really well, and with the Reaver drop, I just distracted a couple tanks away, and with only 2 tanks guarding the natural expansion, I can go in with the Dragoons and kill some tanks. And that's what I did here.
And again, a lot of weaker players don't aim their scarabs. I forget who I was playing team melee with, but he kept dropping the Reavers and like hitting unsieged tanks when there was like 20 SCVs just sitting there. I mean, you gotta aim your scarabs at the SCVs.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the lesson here is obviously your key target is the SCVs, but I mean don't count out the possibility of grouping your army together. I mean, sending the Dragoons in with the Reaver and kind of breaking his natural.
Oh yeah, definitely. What you want to do in PvT generally is lower the tank count as much as possible in early game without sacrificing a lot of Dragoons.
That's funny because we just we recorded with Artosis, I guess, 2 days ago, and he basically summed it up as Terran vs Protoss is just about tanks. Vultures don't even matter. You got to keep your tank count high. And it's just funny to hear you say like the complete same thing from a Protoss point of view. Okay, so why are you taking this mineral only? I mean, it looks to me like you have map control.
I actually forgot to macro, and as you can see in the replay, I had like 1,000 minerals left. So I had to do like a secret expansion, because if it's like the corner ones, he would realize it right away. And I think he blocked it off and sniped my probe one time. So I had to get an expansion somewhere, so I just went there, and then yeah, I got it.
So is this like carrier follow-up something you would do standard, or is this just kind of a one-time thing?
I would do this because he does not have an academy, and there's just no way that he can scout my carriers. So if you see that Terran does not have an academy, then you would want to go carriers.
Yeah, Rage is just pointing out there's no armory either. We can see that StarLife is continually harassing with the Reavers. I mean, even through this mid-game kind of build-up phase, the harassment hasn't really stopped. So, again, another important thing to note.
And also, what I could have done in this game is that add more gateways, definitely, because I only have 5 gateways 13 minutes into the game. But generally, if Protoss has 2 expansions, 1 main and 1 natural expansion, then you want to get 6 to 7 gateways pumping Dragoons and Zealots. And also, a lot of Protoss players have trouble playing versus timing rushes when you triple. What I do is just pump Dragoons from 4 gateways, and you just want to delay the tanks coming out as much as possible, so that when he comes out, then you'll have more time to pump more goons and have a shuttle with 4 zealots ready. If you pump goons from 4 gateways only, then you can easily block the the timing push by Terran.
Okay, so you just want to be right in his face, at his choke, and as he moves out, just run away and force him to keep sieging and unsieging.
Yeah, exactly. And also there is like a timing for when to show your carriers if he hasn't scouted it. basic thing is to show it when you have 4 carriers, because by the time you have 4 carriers, then it's really easy to micro 4 carriers, and it kills tanks pretty fast. So you want to show your carriers when you have about 4. But in cases like this, when he doesn't have an armor build, then you can just show it whenever you want.
Oh, I meant to ask you back when you made that comment about having, 4 to 5 observers around the map. Do you get observer speed at all or observer range?
I don't usually get those upgrades, and that's probably why I suck so much at PvT, but I see a lot of good Protoss players getting the fast observer range, the speed upgrade for observers.
Alright, well I think we just solved your PvT, so I'll take credit for that one.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jared's got a question. How do you feel about taking islands in Protoss vs Terran? I didn't get to read the other part. I assume it said over the other expansions.
I like getting the corner expansions more because you can easily defend it with your ground army. But then if you take the island expos, then you have to shuttle over, or you have to use your carriers, and carriers should be elsewhere, not your expansion at islands. So if you're desperate, I would get the island expo. If you want to be like sneak, try to get a secret expo going up, then I would also get the island expo then.
Now we saw it in your Go ahead.
Also, getting the island expo is very very useful when you, in situations like this, when the Terran went 2 factories and you went 2 gate goons, and you had a late natural expansion. I really should have taken the island expansion, because taking the island expansion forces the Terran to make starport, and it just hinders the Terran factory timing.
Okay, we saw
the carriers is what you want to do with the carriers is just keep going back and forth between cliffs like this, so that the Goliath has to they have to keep going back and forth, so that by then you are buying a lot of time, like making the Goliath go here and there. And about the controlling interceptors and carriers, I'm not sure if there's actually a specific way to do it, but I just like keep moving and keep clicking on the enemy targets, and that's how I usually micro my carriers. There's also a way where you can stack your carriers, like much like the Mutalisk stack, but I'm kind of too lazy to do it most of the time, so I rarely use it. I think I've seen a Nani do it, but then I don't know. He has higher APM than I do.
Yeah, I think he does it mostly with Corsairs. But I guess he might do it with carriers too. I don't know. I see you had +1 on the carriers. Would you continue going towards +2, or is it pretty much not worth it at that point?
For carrier micro, you should always upgrade, keep on upgrading carriers, because it's really hard when Terran gets +2 or +3 armor, and it's just really hard to micro them, and it takes just longer to kill the tanks or Goliaths.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, we saw a lot of drops in the Protoss vs Zerg. I'm wondering if you would ever continue kind of doing harassment drops and Dark Templar drops into the main against Terran, like you did against Zerg.
Yeah, definitely. I would try to do it to buy time, especially when you're about to get an expansion going up. I would do a high Templar drop to Terran and try to just hinder their economy. And high Templar drops, I should be doing really well because, as I said earlier, I'm from fastest. So, and in fastest, whoever does high Templar drop better